Welcome to the Christopher Peter Review, your source of common sense commentary on salient current events. In this podcast episode, I'm going to discuss branding. Building a business is a very difficult endeavor. Turning that business into a viable brand is a greater challenge. Every brand is a business, but not every business is a brand. I'm going to leverage the story that we are seeing firsthand with the growth of women's basketball as a vehicle for discussing growth of a brand through greater awareness. In this case, organic growth that the organization did not have to generate but came to them. Let us begin this special episode of the Christopher Peter Review. Every business owner can speak to the difficulty in building their business, keeping the lights on, employees paid, and new customers and projects coming in the door. Building a business into a brand is even more difficult in taking that business to a level where the market knows exactly what that organization offers and the quality it provides. Running a business is being able to produce a good service or experience. Find a buyer of that good service or experience that can pay a bit more than the cost of production so that you can repeat the process over and over again. In the goal of being able to get better at the process over time and gain economies of scale and, more importantly, notoriety for your business for the quality and reliability. Being a good business usually means that you provide a desirable, good service or experience that people would try again. Otherwise, you do not have a sustainable business. Repeat customers is essential to establishing lasting power for your operations. Therefore, your organization must be seen as reliable, affordable to some degree, and valuable to the consumer's needs. We talk a lot about companies like Microsoft, Google, and Apple. These businesses are more than transactional organizations, but ones that people aspire to be associated with. Consumers want to buy their products. Prospective employees want to work for them. Their product offerings are known by the casual consumer and the expert market buyer as well. Simply looking at their logo gives you the association with quality, reliability, and attributes that you want to be associated with. For each consumer, the desirable brand mix is completely different. Do you have a brand? Going from business to brand is not simply expanding the number of locations, expanding the size of one's Rolodex, or the profitability of operations. All those are important and can help provide the resources and the building blocks for your brand. First, you must determine what is the first thing that one may think of when hearing your business's name. Are people able to identify the industry you serve? Do they know where to find your products or services? Are they able to get a sense of the quality and position in the market? The answer for these questions are most likely no, because you have not educated the market enough. For most new brands, there is a need for some level of promotions and marketing. To develop what marketers call brand awareness, this may be running advertisements in your local paper, television station, church bulletin, but most likely you will need to leverage some form of social media campaign to give your business a modernized approach to connecting potential customers with a potential solution. Businesses want to tell the market what their company does, why they should patronize their business, and what you promise to deliver. For instance, the Christopher Peter Review offers common sense commentary on salient current events in weekly podcasts and blog content centered on facts, evidence, and data. This tells the audience that the Christopher Peter Review is a media company offering podcasts and blog content. People wanting fact-based content can listen to the Christopher Peter Review. The reason why people want to establish a brand is not just the hopes of reaping the full benefits of entrepreneurship, but being able to stand out in crowded spaces. In any field, there are numerous competitors for the products, services, and experiences that you may offer. How do you reach consumers that have so many options to choose from? We all think that our offerings are the best, but can we convince the masses? An effective promotional campaign is important. A business should always be promoting to its best ability, but it must also be operational sound and focused on delivering consistent performance that provides credibility to the promotional messaging. The worst thing a brand can do is say it is the best and have a laundry list of angry customers who have valid claims that it is not. A business cannot satisfy everyone. It needs to find the right customers that fit its ability, deliver on their needs, and help create advocates who recommend them. I know our discussion has started with a business and taking steps to building a brand, but now we are going to shift to discussing how a brand can manage change external to itself. At times, growing a brand requires association with other organizations, groups, or personalities that can expand awareness. In the preceding segments, we are going to discuss the recent explosive growth the sport of women's basketball is facing with a new visible star who is bringing new members to the audience. How is the experience growing the league? Is it sustainable? And what are the challenges and benefits? The success of many common brands that have become household names is largely due to the notoriety of a leading product, service, or personality. While the company may have numerous offerings on the market at any given time, there is a single line that is the keystone to the current position. For example, the first name you think of when you think of the market for cell phones is probably Apple. Although Apple was a tech company long before the cell phone era became the norm, the iPhone really catapulted the company into a top global corporate giant. The personal computers it sells were top of the line as well, but it was fiercely competing against the likes of Dell, IBM, HP, and Gateway for some time. But the iPhone made it the clear-cut market leader in the cell phone space. Sometimes brand awareness is not generated internally, but by associating your brand with the right partner. Association with notable people can help give awareness to a brand that no level of marketing and advertising can do on its own. For certain brands, sometimes the public will trust your brand because they trust the person associated with it. Companies like Nike or Gatorade had products on the market before aligning with the world's most famous athlete in the 90s. But the association with Michael Jordan made these brands a staple in their respective industries. Nike is still the clear market leader in athletic sportswear. Gatorade is still a strong performing brand for the PepsiCo company. While there were other athletes that have contributed to the brand, Jordan was the spark. In the market for women's basketball, the spark for the growth in interest, viewership, and financial investment recently is undoubtedly the budding superstar in Caitlin Clark, a standout star in Iowa who broke the men's and women's scoring records, a star that made it to 2 NCAA championship games, undoubtedly among the great personal achievements in collegiate sports history. In the current environment where athletes are well aware of their brand value and influence, Caitlin Clark seems to understand her ability and opportunity to grow the game beyond its current status, bringing new attention to the professional level with followers and fans of her. Many are new to the sport. Now, there have been plenty of superstar players who have enjoyed great success in college that have translated into great careers at the professional level. Many multiple-time collegiate champions who won WNBA championships as well. Greats like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and Breanna Stewart to name a few recent ones. I think the difference was many of the premier stars played their collegiate careers with powerhouses like UConn, Tennessee, or the current champions in South Carolina, all schools that did not seem to show much interest in Clark, who reportedly wanted to go to UConn but did not get recruited, as they preferred their current star in Paige Buchers. Media interest and marketability is not always based on career paths but moments along the way. Being the driving force for a team that is better known for football and not much else in regard to athletics is notable. People love the underdog story, and people love the potential redemption chase as well. People watch Clark lose a national championship and then be associated with a moment that was perceived by many as poor sportsmanship, and it was for the most part. But to the victor goes the spoils, and to Clark's credit, she handled it with class and took the high road, which she continually does, which we will talk about more later. So 2 big moments in one night. Then there was the stir that a major record could be broken, one that stood for decades. After that was the rematch, one of the biggest games ever for women's collegiate basketball. Then there was the game against the school that did not recruit but probably should have, followed by another chance to capture the championship against a formidable foe that proved too much. All this created a buzz for women's basketball, and rightfully so. Any business will take natural growth in interest, viewership, and attendance that did not cost them any marketing dollars. Simply the media coverage and viewership drove the hysteria, and now the WNBA is reportedly seeing a growth in attendance and ratings, largely for the games featuring the Indiana Fever. From an economic perspective, we are seeing the saying that rising tides raises all ships, and that will be the case for the WNBA, who is finally getting the positive attention it deserves. Overall, despite some recent controversies, but the league will hopefully see a sustainable boost similar to the Bird Magic one the NBA did in the 80s, or possibly the Jordan boost in the 90s if she proves to be able to live up to the hype. There were many reasons for people to watch women's basketball in the past. Great players like Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, and Cynthia Cooper. But sometimes the market does not catch on right away or gains are fleeting. The league has tried with multiple marketing campaigns, even ones that leverage the popularity of the NBA with the next campaign and others. But they are now handed one that appears sustainable and strong. There is a strong market for Clark's games, apparel, and all that goes along with that. The league needs to leverage that properly to grow and set the foundation for greater marketability that will allow players to not have to play overseas to make their ends meet. Pivotal moment in the league's history.
Apple is widely regarded as leading the cultural shift to the tablet computer with its highly popular iPad. But Apple did not come out with the first tablet. Rather, it came out with its tablet when the market was primed and ready for it, and had the option that met the people's interests. Alexander Graham Bell is credited with being the inventor of the telephone, but there were other people who created components, or had something in the pipeline that did not come to fruition before Bell developed and patented what became the early telephone. At any given moment, there could be more than one person or group working on a similar project, but the one that gets to the patent office first wins, or the one connects with the crowd the best. The public or the market does not always see all options, just ones that connect with them. Caitlin Clark is truly galvanizing the sport of women's basketball. Because of the explosive interest she has generated with key moments that connect with audiences, we gravitate to stories of redemption, stories of those who are perceived to be wronged and have to overcome. Is that not the basis of most movie scripts these days? It is fair to say that she has brought attention and a great level of value to the game, with new fans that gravitate to her more so than the WNBA. But it also may seem unfair to the players who are more accomplished or skilled at this point in their careers. Angel Reese has developed a reputation because of the simple act of tapping her ring finger in Clark's face and being unapologetic about it. She was a driving force for the LSU championship season, and has become a villain because of a moment that she might not have done if she knew the public's reaction. Or maybe she would have. But she too is helping create value by providing a competing personality against the more likable star. Every hero needs a villain. There are stars like Breanna Stewart, who is the reigning MVP, who seemed to win every championship in college, won in the WNBA, and is one of the premier players in the league. She surely has a following like all the other stars. These stars were already setting a strong path to stability and growth, especially when Stewart left Seattle to take her talent to the biggest media market in America. Now, the league is now getting a major injection of interest from the influencer-driven crowd. Not saying that Clark is the influencer in the sense of all marketing has no substance. She has great potential and proven talent. But her following is more of a fan of her than of the sport itself, which is not a bad thing. Can be a win-win situation for all. Some may be taking this negatively, as seen with some aggressive play against her. Chicago player Chennedy Carter questioned what Clark brings to the table, despite Clark statistically bringing more to the fever than Carter, who most fans do not know who she is. There will be some welcome to the league-type hazing that all greats have to deal with. But there is some real jealousy of the level of attention paid to a player who is just starting her professional journey, and is outselling everyone because of her following. There are the usual idiots making race an issue, but there always is a swell of following for new talent with great potential. She has demonstrated her potential on the court and shattered records that no one else could. That is not hype, but fact. In any moment of market disruption, there will be people who are doing great work but not get the recognition, because someone else changed the way the product, service, or entertainment was delivered, or simply had a more appealing story. In the entertainment business, stories, connections, and emotional attachment matter, and the league and its stars should realistically wrap their arms around this moment and embrace the growth that they will experience because of it. They have their part in this as well. Competition is very important, and having stars with loyal fan bases is fleeting if there are no compelling rivalries. For those who may feel a certain way because their hard work and contributions are not viewed as the driving force for the growth, the reality is that their work laid the foundation for this growth to happen. At times, we all have to appreciate the growth around us and adapt to find ways to craft our own paths in the changing environment.
When a market is disrupted by a new provider or personality, the dynamics of that environment can change. The perceived roles of current providers can alter, or some may feel threatened by the presence of an offering that they perceive as a direct alternative or substitute. Initially, the disruption of a market can lead to hurt feelings, followed by defensive posturing by existing participants reiterating their value offered to consumers. But the sustainable brands will be the ones that can. Remember when Uber and Lyft changed the transportation market? Cab operators and their political allies ran ads and narratives discussing the value in using the much-hated yellow cabs that were really no longer appealing. The reality is the consumer sees what they want to see in any market. They connect with the products, services, and experiences that align with their interests or promotions that make them feel a certain way. Now, their choices may not appear rational, but it is completely normal. Think about a purchase that you were really motivated to make, besides groceries, work clothes, or any other necessity. Whether it was a new vehicle that you researched for months, maybe it was a new game system or game, maybe it was a new cell phone, tablet, or personal computer. There were probably many existing offerings that you looked past when making that purchase, because you wanted the one that called out to you. Inanimate objects cannot call you, but the marketing, design, and specifications can make you want that particular product, service, or entertainment experience more than another. The expansion of the market can be good for everyone. The initial loyalty can be tested when it comes time for an upgrade or new offerings. Sometimes that introductory experience can lead to consumers or viewers doing a bit more research for their next purchase, or to simply learn more about the space that they are now consuming. Existing participants have to adapt to the new consumer tasters while still serving existing consumers that may prefer the current product lines and market standards. For instance, the WNBA did a good job of featuring Clark in some high-profile matchups early to connect the new fans to the giants of the sport. I tuned it to watch Clark take on Breanna Stewart and the New York Liberty, the awaited matchup between the rookie and the MVP. Been a fan of Stewart's game for some time. Watched some Liberty games in the past, but more so when Stewart came to them last year. So I am not really a completely new audience member. I firmly believe that good brands are not threatened by new competitors, but do themselves a favor by not ignoring them either. I believe that good brands are not frightened by change and are able to adapt to the shifts in market dynamics and consumer tastes. Good brands are responsive, but calculated to ensure that they do not lose their brand value catering to a potential fad. For instance, good brands will remind their customer base why consumers prefer them and what reliable value they provided that a new entrant will not even think about. In response to technology change, they may expand their product offering to connect with consumers seeking those specifications, growing the base without harming their leading line. Going back to our main example, I believe the WNBA knew that there was a new set of eyes that would watch their product. That is why you saw arena changes for certain games, marketing for certain matchups. It did not take them by surprise. The WNBA embraced the new attention it was ready to experience by connecting the new fans with the history of the league, the existing talent, and what the future could hold. The Stewart-Clark matchup was one of the highest-rated games, and the league is undoubtedly set to experience a continuation of the media-generated rivalry between Clark and Reese. The aspect that you really cannot always plan for is the entitlement reaction when a new follower base is not familiar with the customs and norms of the environment. Many followers may not understand that rookies have to pay their dues regardless of how talented they are. And you are seeing that in how some groups are overly upset about the physicality that Clark is experiencing and being left off the Olympic roster, despite few if any person under 25 ever making the team. Future NFL Hall of Famer Eli Manning came into the league with high attention, and teams like my Eagles and others gave him many welcome to the NFL moments. Bill Belichick is known for confusing rookies and making them look bad when facing his teams. That is just part of adapting to a new environment. Mastering the collegiate environment qualifies you for the professional ranks. Now, you must prove you belong and can adapt to a completely different game and environment. From her statements, she is accepting the new challenges and adapting well, understanding that there will be ups and downs along the way, moments that will motivate her to be better and overcome the adversity that she may face this year. To her credit, she handles every moment in a positive, professional manner. When others project and deflect, she accepts the reality of the situation and uses it to fuel her. That is what good brands do: accept the challenges and not shrink in the face of a new environment. A big thank you to all of you in the audience. Your viewership is appreciated and valued. Not every business owner obsesses about being a brand. Many are simply happy with trying to be a good provider for their customer and being a pillar in their community. In that sense, they are a community brand, and a very important one at that. There is no real substitute for quality, even for the value brands. I think it is important to be operationally effective and efficient, honest and demonstrate integrity, and associate with good partners that reflect positively on your organization, and you reflect positively on them as well. In terms of the WNBA, they have found themselves a star who shows the awareness to handle controversy and adversity with a positive outlook. That is a good brand to be associated with. We will continue to discuss this topic in the near future. Some ideas for small businesses. Please further the Christopher Peter Review on social media, and continue to visit www.crcreview.com for new episodes. Thank you once again. Until next time.